One question on the engine, the 414.
Yep.
It has taken greater importance now. The civil has been selected for the LCA.
Yes, yes.
So I suppose it's a plus point, really.
Yeah.
What is, of course, I have read that when you're operating from the carriers, obviously the engine is designed for labor operations.
Right.
So it is very reliable and so on and so forth. Can you tell me if there are any, shall we say, weaknesses in this engine, any deficiencies? How does it stand to, let's say, a bird injection?
Right. Well, quite well. We've never lost an airplane for an engine failure. So in a million hours of flying Super Hornets, we've never lost an airplane from an engine failure of any type. And we have taken some birds during that time.
Have you ever had a occasion when you went into single engine situation?
Well, one of the things about having two motors is, of course, you take good care of. You can throttle back an engine if you take the bird and stuff. So there have been single engine landings, but by and large, the motor is very rugged. It'll take a bird strike and keep turning. It may not produce full power, and so those are the kind of things we've had. In that case, is you've got one good engine, you pull out with back to idle, leave it running just for systems, keep your hydraulics running, all that kind of stuff. Even though they have separate systems, you just wouldn't shut it down unless it was on fire. So again, we've built 500 of these. They've lost 7, the Navy has. There were 2 mid-airs, that was 4 of them, and a couple of controlled flight into terrain, as we call it, with spatial disorientation. Never lost one for an engine problem or an aircraft failure, operator error. So it's a great motor, and I don't know, it's gotten a knock as not being, but it's a fantastic engine. Like I said, a million hours on them, so which is pretty good endorsement. The Navy had a plan for the EPE, the Enhanced Performance Engine. We did that on the Classic Hornet. So we developed an EPE motor, not for the Navy actually, but for Kuwait, who, because of their high temperature operations, wanted more thrust. So we've done this before, know how to do it. For the Navy, would they buy an EPE if somebody else paid to develop it? Yes. But what they would probably do is dial it back and just have it extended life. So as it is, these motors, I think they're good for 2,000 hours. As you turn it up, you're going to dial that life back. It's still a very significant time frame. The airplanes that we had here at the air show last year, I think had 1,600 hours on them. I think our high time airframe, going back to the original Block 1, is about 3,400 hours. And right now, the Navy has already certified them out to 9,500 hours, the airframes. And we, of course, tested it to 18,000 hours during development. Airframe's solid. I mean, carrier-based airplane, as I say, is designed to crash every time it lands. So they're pretty rugged machines. And all the systems reflect that, so including the engines.
One small question just came to my mind. I was looking at this model. It says A-18E.
Mm-hmm.
I think you spoke about the G version also, which is, I think, EA-18G.
Right. So the way
that's the later version of this.
So
Growler.
it's the Growler.
Growler.
It's the electronic attack.
Okay.
So that EA stands for electronic attack.
Uh-huh.
So what we're producing today, if you go to St. Louis, you'll see 4 versions.
That machine differs to this, right?
It's a 2-seat version of this.
Okay.
So we build single seat and 2-seat. So the E model is a single seat. The F is a 2-seat. The G is a 2-seat, but it's got electronic attack equipment populated in here. And then we're building the Australian airplane, which is an F, with provision for the electronic attack. So we have 4 different versions going down the production line at this time. And our production system is fantastic. We've delivered, like I said, about 500 airplanes. Every one has been on or ahead of schedule. So we've never had a late, even a day late. In fact, we're delivering today 90 days ahead of contract. So that's a pretty good endorsement. During that time period, of course, we've gone from the Block 1 to the Block 2, added the G, added the Australian airplane, and still run ahead of schedule like that. So terrific production system, which we would be installing here, of course. So we can generate out of our facility. Right now we are provision for, let's see, our buildings are sized for up to 72 a year. Our tooling, we're tooled for about 54. And we're delivering, I think, about 46 this year. But we can dial it up and dial it down. It's a very flexible production system. And so that's one of the positives is we can deliver airplanes right away. I think the requirement is first airplane arrives here 36 months after contract is signed. And we're certainly able to do that. And that would include some of the changes that we'll make for India. So there are some unique things that we'll do for this airplane. And the IRST on the airplane, missile laser warning. Trying to think if there's anything. Not a lot of changes, but it'll be good to go.
In case F-18 is selected, then will it come to India as a part of it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, part of the package is the ability to build them. So the first 18 would be delivered in St. Louis. That's just to get capability quickly. And then the rest of the airplanes will be built in India.
Oh.
They'll start with kits. So, boxes of parts come, and then you put it together and it's an airplane. And then those parts get smaller and smaller, and then at a certain point, you manufacture more and more of those parts here. And at the end state, the last 60 airplanes or some number are manufactured completely here. And so then you continue to build out to whatever, as long as you want it to.
17, now that you mentioned it, is coming to the FMS room.
Yes.
Does it attract also?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so you'll be a combination of the two. So if you put both these programs together, you're looking at volume offsets that get selected to the tune of about 7 to 7.25.
Yeah.
So how will that get absorbed?
Oh, we're excited about that. We do this. We have today about 30 billion going on around the world.
Yes.
So we have a very strong team that does this. Part of this, of course, is production not of just this airplane, but of other parts for other airplanes that we're manufacturing, as well as other activities, training solutions and things like that. There's some co-development work we'd like to do on the airplane. At Farnborough, we introduced the new growth tanks on the airplane and embedded IRST, new cockpit, things like that, things that we would like to co-develop. Those would be good offset projects. So we see that as an opportunity, and it is a challenge, to be honest. But as I say, we've done this for many years, and we've got a very strong team that knows how to do it. So we're excited about the opportunity, in fact. And one of the advantages of having several programs is that we can help each other out on those. And what it means for India is that you're getting to build a wide array of components, aerospace, high-quality aerospace components, across helicopters, fighters, transport airplanes, commercial airplanes, all of that. So towards the goal of having a global aerospace production capability, I think Boeing brings more to the table than anybody else. Like I say, we build everything from Scan Eagle to Space Shuttle, so we've pretty well got the range.